is Las Vegas Vantage with your host, Rocky Dickerson.
Hi, and welcome to Las Vegas Vantage. Here in Las Vegas Vantage, we do talk about the real estate here in Las Vegas, but even more importantly, we talk about the community, the people that make up Las Vegas. And I've got to tell you, I am very excited for today because I'm talking to a member of the community that I actually kind of admired from way back in the 1980s. When I was still living in San Diego, I subscribed to his newsletter. He helped me so much with understanding Las Vegas and how to take advantage of some of the great deals in here and some of the great activities you can find here in Las Vegas. So please welcome our special guest, Anthony Curtis. Thanks for being here, Anthony.
Good to be here. All the way back to the 80s, huh? Holy mackerel.
Yes.
That's
it was back in the 80s. I can remember anticipating that same time of the month, every month, getting your newsletter and then just pouring over it. And I mean, not just once. I would read that sucker 20 times to make sure I had it all ingrained for when I made my next trip here.
Well, it's fun. I believe that. I've heard that a lot. And it was, that was the idea behind the newsletter, because I used to want to come to Vegas. I was living in Orange County, and I'm actually originally from Detroit, but I was living in Orange County and I was making frequent trips to Vegas. And I was like, where can I get information? I couldn't find any information anywhere. And when I got here, after I gambled for a while and did what I did in that, I guess we're going to talk a little bit about that. I started the publishing company and I started the newsletter. And I said, I'm going to tell people the things that I wanted to know. And that's how the Las Vegas Advisor came to be.
That's great. And so Las Vegas Advisor, it's been going for about 4 decades now. And in there, you have gambling tips that I recall. I mean, you would say, okay, listen, if you go to this, like you were pointing out things like, where do you find the single zero roulette wheels?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And by the way, are there any here in town right now?
There are several, but most of them are in high limit rooms. So if you want to play single zero roulette, you have to be betting a minimum of 25 and usually 50 and sometimes 100.
Wow.
With one exception. That exception is the Plaza downtown. They have a single zero roulette wheel that's in action 24 hours a day, and it's a $15 minimum, 15.
Gotcha. Okay. So you were talking about different ways to get better odds in gambling. You would have great coupons to be able to save on meals, to save on shows, and great insider information. And Las Vegas Advisor is still packed with that kind of information today, correct?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the coupons we do now are better than they ever were back then. And back then, we were just starting with the idea. Back then, it was the idea that people would want the information. And the newsletter was always about, as you say, how to find the better gambling odds, but also where to find the best deals on food, entertainment, drink prices, the whole thing. Well, we still do that, but we found out over the years that what people really want are the gambling coupons and the discount coupons. So we have something now called member rewards, and people who become members get that coupon book, and they're terrific. I mean, 2-for-1s all over the place, and yeah, same formula we used way back then. We use now, only a little bit better.
That's great. So now, in addition to that, you've written books on gaming, correct?
I've written a couple. I've published many more. So we're Huntington Press, which is the parent company of Las Vegas Advisor, is a full service publishing company. And we've done about 120 books or so, mostly on gambling strategies.
That's great. Now, you've also worked as a consultant for numerous TV shows and movies. In fact, I can think of a couple of my favorites, Ocean's 13 and Bar Rescue. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. I've been called a few times to do those things. They asked me to take a look at what they're doing and make sure that it's accurate. Bar Rescue was a little bit different. I actually went on as Taffer's expert because they were doing a video poker bar. And I went on as the video poker expert for that. That was an interesting experience being on Bar Rescue, yeah.
Well, great. Now, also in your past, you've done a number of tournaments. If I'm remembering correctly, I think you had one tournament where you won like 76,000 playing blackjack, another one 125,000 playing craps. You've had some big tournaments.
Yeah, well, yeah, the viewers have to understand, you say blackjack and they go, well, of course, you're supposed to be able to get an edge in blackjack. But craps, if you're playing regular craps, you cannot get an edge. The house will always have the advantage except for certain circumstances, and one of those circumstances is in a tournament. So any game played in a tournament format, if you know what you're doing, if you're expert and better than the opponents, then you can get an advantage. And I was taught by one of the great ones, a guy named Stanford Wong, played on his tournament team for a number of years, and was fortunate enough to take down several championships, a couple of which you've just named.
And speaking of a team of gamblers, I'm reminded of that movie 21, and I understand you know a little bit about the background on that.
Yeah, 21 was actually done off of a book called Bringing Down the House. And Bringing Down the House was originally written about a team of card counters known as the MIT team from Massachusetts Institution of Technology. And the MIT team was very famous for a number of years. And all of those guys were playing at the same time. When that movie was done, what that movie talks about was at a time when I was playing with a different team at the same time. So all of those people in the movie that, in the book and in the movie, I knew them. In the movie, they're all like, they're all Caucasian. In reality, they're all Asians. I mean, almost every one of them are Asians. Nothing about that movie is really that accurate, except the fact that those people existed. And
okay.
The about it, people who have seen 21, the Kevin Spacey character is really a guy named John Chang. And in the movie, Spacey is, evil incarnate, right? And John Chang is about the nicest guy you ever met. So, I mean, there's a whole lot of analysis going on there, but it kind of captures the feeling a little bit, I think.
Gotcha. Well, obviously, what we gear this program towards is for Las Vegas locals. So let me ask you, what are some of the tips you got right now for a Las Vegas local to really get some more added enjoyment out of their experience here at a little bit lower cost?
Well, a lot of the locals know a lot of the tricks, already. They kind of know the good places to go. They know one of the best things you can do, and a visitor can do this as well, is take advantage of the many happy hours. I mean, there are just some incredible happy hours, all the way from the top restaurants, on the strip down to the dive bars. So, happy hours is a really great thing. But then we have our, our deals that are ongoing all the time. And the best of which has been for years and years, in my opinion, is the steak special at the Ellis Island, which runs 24 hours. It's like $12.99. And if you play $5 through a slot machine, that's all you got to do, or a video poker machine. You don't have to lose it. You just have to play $5 worth. They take $3 off of that, so you can get that deal for $9.99. It's a great steak. It's been great for years and years.
Nice. Yeah, I remember one of the tips I got from you back in the 80s was the old Silver City prime rib dinner. I think that was $2.99 back then or something like that.
Oh, man, the deals. I mean, back then, there was the $2 steak at Binion's. There were the 50-cent Heineken's. That's lots of fun. There was, there were all kinds of things. Obviously, prices have gone up like crazy. But, you look around, you can still find the deals on everything. You just you got to keep your nose to the grindstone. You got to read everything you can. You got to, you got to be aware. There's still one 99-cent shrimp cocktail left in town, and that's down at the Fremont. And they serve that pretty much around the clock as well. They close for a couple hours in the morning, but there's still some of the old deals are out there. Prime rib, the great prime rib these days is also at Ellis Island, same place where they have the steak special. They've got fabulous prime rib dinners, but those things are now up around $17, $18 now.
Oh, that's great. And of course, great karaoke that they're known for there too.
Absolutely. Karaoke place.
So gotta ask you, obviously you are, like, in my eyes, the expert on Las Vegas. So tell me, I mean, you must have just lived through some extraordinary things here in this town. What is your favorite only in Las Vegas story?
Man, I mean, there have been plenty. I've obviously some of the big tournament wins were really cool. I can tell you when the Mirage opened, that was really something to see the change, the flipping of the switch in Vegas. But I think the one that pops into mind when you ask me that question, have you heard of Mattress Mac?
Yes.
Mattress Mac is the big sports bettor. He just won almost $73 million on a bet on the Astros when they won the World Series. And Mattress Mac's attorney was a subscriber to my newsletter. And through his attorney, I got to meet Mac. And Mac came into town one day to make $1 million bet. And I said, I'll come meet you. And in order to make the bet, he had to fly into Vegas because he couldn't do it over state lines. So he was going to do it with William Hill. And he flew into Vegas. I said, I'll come meet you and I'll take you out wherever you want to go. And guess where he wanted to go?
Where?
You wanted to go get that $9.99 steak dinner. It was pretty wild seeing a guy who had bet $1 million a game come and say, what I really want to do is I want to take me and my pilots and I want to go get that steak dinner.
Now, it's funny you brought that story up because it triggered a memory. If I recall, I think in your Las Vegas Advisor back in the 80s, I think you mentioned one time that I think it was Bob Stupak placed $1 million bet at Foxy's on the Bengals in the Super Bowl.
It was Stupak.
Yeah.
And it was the Bengals on the Super Bowl. It was the first $1 million bet. And he did it at a sports book, a standalone sports book called the Little Caesars.
Oh, there you go. Yes, Little Caesars.
That's where he did it.
Not to be confused with a pizza chain.
Yeah, no, exactly. And he did win that bet. And it's interesting, you bring that up. Back then, it was like the most amazing thing in the world that somebody would bet $1 million. And here you got Mattress Mac just bet $10 million. So, obviously things progress.
And you brought up the Mirage. If I recall, wasn't there a story way back when that Steve Wynn wanted to take Fremont Street and instead of put a cover over it, didn't he want to put canals through there? Yeah, that was, they were trying to think of a way to rejuvenate Fremont Street, downtown. Downtown really kind of fell on hard times when the mega resorts started going up along the strip, starting with the Mirage. And then you had, not in this order, but then you ended up with Bellagio and Paris and, MGM and on and on and on, Wynn, Las Vegas later on. And everyone was trying to come up with a way, everyone who had a stake in downtown. And at that time, Steve Wynn owned the Golden Nugget. Right. So everybody had to come up with their ideas. And of course, Steve Wynn, the visionary, they couldn't wait to hear what he had to say. And he wanted to make it basically canals. He wanted to turn the street into a waterway and have people taking, gondolas up and down, and there'd be walkways on the side. And it really got a lot of consideration, but they went with the laser lights, right? Instead, they went with the Fremont Street experience. And, but that was, Wynn was, that was one of the things under consideration of about 5 or 6 ideas back then. Well, let me ask as well, obviously with your experience in this town, what are some of the things that maybe a lot of people don't know about that you happen to enjoy in this town?
Well, I mean, for me, I like the non-casino bars. I mean, I think that people don't realize that the gaming experience goes beyond the casinos and it goes to the bars. And here's where you find a lot of your absolute best deals is in the smaller bars, where they will give you, if you like to play video poker or slots or Keno, electronic Keno, there'll be deals out there like play 20, get 20, or play 200, get 50. And these are things that you can't get in a casino. You go into a casino, you gamble, you lose, you're done, except for whatever you get on your club card, which isn't much. You got to play a lot to get a lot of slot club points that are worth anything. But in the smaller bars, they're all over. There are deals all over the place. And some of these places have tremendous kitchens. One that comes to mind is a place called Crown and Anchor. And there are 2 of them, one on each side of town, one on Spring Mountain, one on Tropicana. And they have deals on and off that, they'll give you bonus money and things like that. They have drawings. They have the best chicken fingers in town. They have, believe it or not, it's a British pub, but they got the best clam chowder in town. And it's like, finding places like that are the things I like to do. Like, where are the good hamburgers? Who's got a good hot dog? What are the special days? That's where I have a lot of fun, to be honest with you. Nice.
Crown and Anchor. I'm going to have to keep that in mind.
It's a good one. It's a British pub. So their whole menu is, bangers and mash and, the whole British thing, the shepherd's pie and the whole deal. But they've got all kinds of other things and the most amazing chicken fingers. I just had them yesterday.
Great. Well, gosh, Anthony, I certainly have appreciated your time here today. Let me ask, where can our viewers connect with you and your publication and become a part of all the information you have to share?
Well, our website is lasvegasadvisor.com. And we put up a lot of information there for free. We have the membership where people can get the coupons. That's $50 a year. But if you don't want to pay for that, we put up a lot of information on LasVegasAdvisor.com. And we've also got a Las Vegas Advisor YouTube channel. So at least once a week, we do a fresh YouTube show, kind of like we're doing right now, but really up to date about what's going on. So check us out on YouTube.
Great. Well, Anthony, thanks again for being with us here today. And we want to thank everyone that's watching today for Las Vegas Vantage. Please keep coming back. Again, we're going to be talking about the community. We're going to be talking about real estate. And if you are looking to sell or buy real estate here in Las Vegas, please give me a call. I would love to give you superior service. Rocky Dickerson, 702-743-7625. Email Rocky@RockySellsVegas.com. And please subscribe to my video channel.